Hey, what's up, guys? Jonah Lewis today, beginning investor. I'm here with Matt Kamp, here with DealMachine. He's going to go ahead and give me a crash course, kind of introduce me to DealMachine, how it works. I'm a beginner, just downloaded it, just started looking at it. He's going to teach me what I need to know to use it to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jonah, again, excited to be on here and kind of give you guys the ins and outs. I mean, there's so many different ways you can be using the tool. So what I'll share are some of the I'd say common best practices across our most successful customers. We have people that are using it really anything around lead gen and marketing, anything around how do you find off market deals. Is the most common use case for it, coming in there and being able to identify based on our data, which I'll walk you through that, based on our marketing tools as well. So I'll kind of give you guys the rundown on all of that, and then we're coming in on almost 15,000 deals that have been done using DealMachine at this point. So a lot of what I share is like the playbook from those guys who've gone through and make sure that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just go in there and do what's working and again, like just jump in and really lead with action. Like out of all of this, the biggest commonality across the board is even if you're not 100% set on every little detail and feeling 100% confident on doing everything, it's just go for it, lead with action. You're going to learn by doing, and then if you can have this kind of on demand, like on any kind of support community to be able to fall back on and say, hey, what do I do here or there? That all also helps as well. But leading with action is probably across the board, whether you're a newbie or more advanced investor, the most common best practice I can share. So does that sound good if I kind of dig in on that there then, man?
Oh, yeah, no, that sounds good. Sounds good.
Perfect. So
Yes,
what
sir.
I'll go through, can you pull up my screen here? There we go. Perfect.
Sir.
Awesome. So what I'll go through here to kind of show you guys the full rundown. I would say, the overall playbook. Think about lead gen. So how do you build a list of motivated sellers in any market?
Hmm.
Marketing. So what do you do with that list? How do you take that and turn those addresses into opportunities, right? Into real conversations and offers and deals, right? And then third piece is I can briefly show off. We have a couple tools to help you actually think about what to offer to help you close that deal. And so those three areas are kind of the biggest breakdown I want to give you. When it comes to lead gen, I would say, like, how do you go out and build a list of leads in any market? You got a couple things there. One, there's kind of one strategy you can take that's focused on, taking a little bit more. I would say if you have a little more time to get out there, a little more ability to go out and hustle and identify properties, by hand, really, going out there and doing what we would call driving for dollars. That's kind of
Yep.
the first option here. And then the other side of it is, okay, great. How do you use our data to be able to list stack, to be able to take all these different filters, put them on top of each other, and come up with a list of properties in just a few minutes? And we've got about 700 or so data filters there to work with. Our most successful customers are kind of doing a combination of those two things. So they're going in there and they're pulling lists of leads, but then also what's great about driving for dollars, and just to define that for everybody on here, it's getting in a car and physically driving around your market. So looking for fixer uppers, like looking for properties that have a tarp on the roof and gutters falling off or broken board up windows, or the front yard backyard's a mess. You see things like a really overstuffed mailbox or really overgrown grass, to say that's like a vacant property, right? Like you're looking for those properties that are problem properties that the owner just doesn't want to deal with anymore or can't deal with anymore. And that's the number one most motivated seller, is somebody who's dealing with a property that's in bad shape. And
Hmm.
so being able to get out there and do both of these things, Jonah, like going out and building lists of leads based on our data, and then combine that with driving for dollars leads, putting those two things together is going to give you a really, really powerful list to go out there and actually reach out to. So, have you tried? I know you mentioned you're just kind of like jumping in the platform and trying to figure things out. Is there? Have you tried either of those things yet, or just curious, kind of where you're coming in at?
Yeah, so coming into the app and everything right now is I haven't gone like driving out yet and trying to
Mhm,
find a lot of things. I've been just kind of like YouTube and trying to figure out what I'm looking at in properties as of now, and then
mhm,
just talking to people in my market, seeing like what they're wanting out of properties. As far as I've gone on into the app is like I put in like vacant land searches, and then like I've just gone in different neighborhoods, pulled up a house, looked at like how many acres is there, One question I did have was about the filters. How do
Uh-huh.
I go in and like filter out based off like bedrooms, bathrooms, acres?
Mhm.
And then did y'all have any like additional information on there about like how close you would be to water lines, electric lines, like running any of that like stuff on the property?
Yeah, so, what I can show you here, let's build a list together so that way I can kinda show you that process of how to go, pull a list of leads, and then in addition to that, we can go through and kinda, like, drive for dollars just for a few minutes to show you that too, if that works.
Yeah.
Cool. So where did you say, you're looking? Like, what market are you thinking about?
So I've been looking about Ooltewah, to the like southeastern side of Chattanooga.
Okay, cool. So what you're seeing right here on the screen is the desktop version, the web version, right? And we have a mobile app as well. So if you're out physically driving for dollars, driving around, you're probably using mobile. If you're pulling a list of leads, you can do it on mobile, but you're a lot of times going to be using this version, the desktop. To kind of dig in here, Jonah, do you have a really well, actually to back up 1 second here? What you're looking at on the map tab is a filter bar up top. So again, we've got 700 plus data filters to work with, like seller motivations, property types, price points, bed bath. The more buttons, kind of the catch-all filter for all kinds of stuff in terms of mortgage info or info about the owner, like owner demographics,
Gotcha.
land tax, foreclosures, liens, all kinds of stuff. Um, to get to kind of start off with, I always recommend putting in an area first. So if you're able, do you have a zip code in mind? Maybe that would be a way to like kind of hone in on a certain area. I'd love to know if you
37414. 37414.
37. Let's see, 37414. Cool.
Yes.
So putting that up top here. Here we go. So it'll go in and it'll highlight that area. Hold on, let me see here. Let me refresh. 37414. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Let's do Chattanooga. Where specifically in Chattanooga did you say? Is it inside city limits or is there a county level?
Yeah, you can do like East Ridge. East Ridge probably be good for now.
Is
Looking
that a
at
county?
it's like kind of like a sub city. Like
Got it within there.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
Let's see. Let's see what we get with Chattanooga. So I don't know what was going on with the loading there. Okay. Here we go. So East Ridge right here. I got you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Nice. So let's see. Within East Ridge, let's see here. What would this be? 37415. Let's try that here. 37415. See what we get. So again, you can do city, county. Man, I don't know. I'm having a slight issue here. If we go through either city, county, or zip code level, it'll
Mhm.
really start off by again highlighting that area. So let's see if we can even zoom in here. Let's try this. This might be a little bit easier. Hold on, guys. Thanks for being patient here. Kind of honing in on an area. So again, you can either filter by city, county, zip code, or individual address. You could also use the draw tool right here. So this top left corner. So we could draw and say, hey, let's just draw around East Ridge. Kind of give
Okay.
us this particular area. So can use this to kind of hone in on a specific spot. This bottom corner is going to tell you exactly how many properties fit that area. So if we're looking at East Ridge, just from these highlights, we've got 2,252 properties. Now, once you've chosen that area, what to think about? Are you looking at single family primarily? I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I would think about property type, so single family, and then I would also recommend, unless you're looking on the MLS for any particular reason, you can go to off market right away. So right here, you've got three main factors. No matter what, when it comes to list building, I would start with these three main factors. I would choose an area, whether you're picking a zip code, city, or county, or drawing, using the draw tool to draw around an area. Then choose off market, and then the property type, so single family. You'd also mention, is there anything in terms of bed bath or price point that you're looking at in terms of how to like what your buy box is looking like, or are you kind of open to thoughts?
Right now, I'm open to thoughts on bed
Okay,
and baths.
Cool. You can keep those wide open. That's totally fine. Like that, I think most people aren't necessarily honing in on those two things individually. It's more about the seller motivations than anything else.
Yep.
Um, where I would start on that is when you click into more, this is where you can search by anything. And again, we've got a ton of different, again, 700 plus, properties you can be searching in here. Where I would probably start for you guys is coming in and saying, okay, what's going to make a property more likely to be looking to sell sooner than later?
Hmm.
One thing right off the bat, I know year built is a good indicator just because in general, the older the property, the higher the probability it needs updating, that it could
Oh
be
yeah.
out of shape, could need some TLC. So you're built right here. If you search by that, do you have any idea what when a lot of this area was built? It's all right
East
if not.
Ridge, I would say probably within the last 20, 30 years
Okay, nice. So if let's
ish.
try 1990, see what we get here. So 1990, yep, dropped it by a little bit. So maybe we could back it up a little more. See what we get. 1970. Here we go. So we're starting to eliminate some of those newer builds, right? So we've got what 55 years or older, all these properties. So that's a great indicator again that hey, you know what? We pulled out those newer builds, we pulled out those newer developments. These are older properties that are higher probability of needing help, needing to be fixed up, right?
Hmm.
Um, the next piece I would think about is the longer that the owner has held on to it, just statistically, the higher probability they're looking to sell. Versus if they just bought it, then hey, lower probability they're looking to sell. And that's what we're trying to do here is we're trying to layer on these different data points to find the intersection of that to say, okay, great. There's a high probability that this list is looking to sell at some point here sooner than later. And so last sale date is a really solid one to start with. I would always recommend starting there. So you could say last sale date is more than 15 years ago, for example. And so I'm layering on each of these data points. You can see, like, hey, we've got this area. They're all off market single families. And then they are older builds. And then I did the and filter and put in they've owned the property for at least 15 years. And so all those things right there are a great place to start. We're at about what 357 properties right now. You can scroll them on this end. This shows you like, hey, here's the all the search results so far. But this list size down here is what we're really paying attention to is the number of properties that fit my exact criteria. And so, Jonah, here, what we're really aiming for, ideally, that first list you're pulling, usually 200 to 500 leads is what we found is a really good best practice to start off with because that list size, it's big enough. You've got deals in there, but small enough that you can really work that list and really reach out to them and be seen as a somebody that's a resource for them. Like you can market to them consistently. And so this 357, that's not a bad place to start. I would even consider putting on another quick filter here. So did you, I know you were throwing out a couple ideas, but did you have anything here? I mean, we've got things like, absentee
Absentees.
owned, absentee. Okay, here we go.
Yes,
So let's
sir.
see. 68, perfect. That's there's a nice list. Again, it's smaller than what we
Hmm.
recommended, but you could pull that and you'll pull another one. You could look at things like tax delinquent. There's foreclosures, tired landlords, likely to move, all kinds of stuff to be able to work with here. And each of these motivations, so say for example, you want to do absentee owned. So here's your total list, right? Older homes, they've owned them for a while. It's absentee owned, off market, and single family. Now that you've got all this right here, you can just hit build list, confirm build, and now you've got 68 properties to work with. So you can pull one list that way. Great. Go back in. Let's look at tired landlords, for example. See what we get here. 71. Awesome. Build that list, confirm build. And you can just keep easily pull in those lists like that, where now we've got a couple of lists that are going to add up to what 150 ish houses there, little less, and kind of use that to start to build that list and be able to kind of fulfill step one here. So, what questions do you have there in terms of like how to filter, how to think about this? Happy to start there.
I got you. So I like that you've shown me a lot of the filters and everything. I understand more of like how to locate those as well. Some of the questions that I would have is
Mhm.
if I was to go like on the first list of filters and everything, and where it's like the MLS active, off market, absentee, tired landlord, do you
Mhm.
suggest like just using maybe like one of those at a time and building a list and then like going and hitting another one and building a separate list just off of like those facts?
Yeah, I mean, I think going in, each of these will have a little bit of a different pain point to solve, right? So, like, if it's an expired listing, like they tried to list it, then it just sat on market, they could never sell it, and then hey, you can reach out to those folks, and they might be motivated right away for it might be more timely. They just dealt with this problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Somebody who, if you go in here, they're behind on taxes. It's like, hey, there's a variety of reasons why it might be. And you can go in there and talk about like, hey, I can, if it's a problem, they just don't want to pay the taxes every year or they can't, like, hey, you can be a solution for them, to be a resource for them. Right. And so each of these pain points are going to have a little bit of a different way to solve them. I recommend just pulling each list based on that. So, like
Gotcha.
for example, even in my own business, I'm here in St. Louis doing deals. For us, we've got lists that are around things like, hey, properties that are going through probate, or properties that have a lien on them, properties that are tax delinquent, or have a tired landlord who's out of state. So we're kind of identifying that one individual pain point, pulling that list, reaching out to them individually, and then also doing that with a second list. So each list you pull, I would say, kind of figure out what is that pain point there, and then you can work it from there. So does that
Gotcha.
answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cool.
And I had another one. Like using Deal Machine and going through this and all, are y'all have y'all like looked statistically and seen like a preset set of filters that work pretty much in any area? Like, do y'all have like a
Mhm.
preset, like people go in, put certain ones in any area and are really likely to find a deal?
I think this baseline is a really, really good start. Basically,
Gotcha.
like and pick an area, any area, and then say, show me ones that are off market with a certain property type that are older and haven't sold for a while. Like
Gotcha.
that baseline right there is a really solid place to start, because again, if they haven't sold in a while, more likely that they were looking to sell. If it's an older property, more likely needs to be fixed up. And then on top, you could just start there and go for it. Or that's where these other quick filters come in, is like pulling each individual thing, having this baseline no matter what, but pulling each individual, motivator from there. We'll kind of take it to the next level, make it even more niche and focused. So I'd recommend, no matter where you're at, start with these factors right here, and then start layering on different seller motivations and pulling those individual lists.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I will also say, no matter where you're at, the other option, driving for dollars, those are just across the board. They're the, again, number one indicator they're looking to sell is if it's a property in bad condition. And then two, they are the least competitive leads in your market too, because if you go out and drive for dollars, if you get in your car and drive around, what you're going to be doing is you're going to let it lock onto your location. So it uses your GPS to do that. And then as you drive around, you're going to drive down the street, and all these little black dots that pop up around me are all, the properties in real life, right? So I'm driving down the street, and if I see that rundown house, I put in the work to find it. So it's properties that may or may not appear with any other filter, right? They're like, you went out and put in the time and the sweat equity, right, to go identify this property's kind of hidden deals. And so if I see 407 Brookfield right here is in bad shape, cool, I tap on it in the app, I hit add lead, it pins that property, and then I move on to the next one. And no matter what market you're in, if you go do that, if you go drive for dollars, you will find deals that way. So those are kind of your two main options: is build the list quickly with this data, and then supplement that with going out and driving and finding them by hand like that.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Um, Second piece, if you're cool, any other lead, like, list building questions? Because I can show you, like, okay, what do you do with these leads, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so, like, after, like, I go and, like, I put in my filters, I start hitting, like, add lead as I'm driving for dollars. Once I have all that and I have these lists, pulled
Mhm.
together, what's the next step I take within Deal Machine?
Yeah. So that next phase is you're kind of moving from the lead gen into marketing, right? Into saying, okay, how do I reach out to a seller in an effective way? The great thing is, first off the bat, and you'll notice, like, I mean, I pulled this list, I pulled this list. You'll notice right here, if I scroll down, I've got emails and phone numbers for virtually all of these properties, right? The vast majority. And typically you would have to do what's called skip tracing, which is pinging a database and getting phone numbers and emails back into your account for 10 cents per property is pretty industry standard for that. You can, depends on the quality and where you go, but 10 cents is pretty common. That alone, I mean, I've got 27,000 leads in here. That would be $2,700 to go do that. Inside DealMachine, as of like a year ago, we launched unlimited free contact information included in your account. So
Okay.
every list you pull, you scroll in. I mean, I didn't have to hit skip trace or anything. It just gives me phone numbers and emails to reach out to. So you have all of that inside your account ready to go. That is barrier number one, is just getting a way to get in contact with them. Once you have that, you can also click on a property and you'll see you've got all this data about the mortgage, about the property characteristics, about the land, the tax info, sale history, even estimated rehab cost in here from an algorithm we're using in there, HOA info. So all of that right here. And then you can also see, hey, here's the owner, RM Myers. Okay, let me click on that owner. I can see, more about that person and more about, do they have a portfolio? Like, you've got all of the due diligence you need about the property and the owner right here inside the app. So when you reach out to them, you are going to be able to reach out and ask way better questions than anybody else. Like, you've got, this is kind of like your prep work, right? Like, you can see here, oh, it's senior owned, it's a tired landlord, it's absentee. Great. Like, let me go in and start asking great questions and listening to the seller. And so going in and being able to have all of that data about the property, the owner, and the contact info lined up, ready to go, like, that is your unfair advantage in your market. And so you've got all that to work with when it's time and you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to call this person. You also have a dialer built into DealMachine. And when you hit the call button, what it's going to do is it pulls up your phone call right there. It's an AI powered dialer is kind of what we there's AI elements kind of making you super effective with this. And what it'll do is, one, it'll actually take notes on the call. So it'll transcribe your entire conversation right there in front of you. It'll give you, when you're done with it, notes from the call, like give you a summary and give you a suggested next step right there. And then the coolest thing is there's a little button in there that says, what do I say next? In real time. You click on that button, it'll tell you, here's what the seller's saying. We know you're trying to buy the property. Here is a suggestion on where to take the conversation. Like, ask them about the condition of the property, ask them about why they're looking to sell, ask about their timeline to sell, ask eventually what price they're looking to get. Like, it'll guide you through that and even give you, if they respond, it'll help you overcome objections with them. It is wild. Like, you can go in here, here's what it looks like, click call, and I'll hang up here, but here's that what do I say button, right? You click on that. Here's the contact, right? The contact data, property data. So it's going through all this right here, and I'll just make sure we don't actually make the call. There we go. And it'll tell you right here, okay, no, they didn't answer, right? Give you that suggested next step. It'll give you call notes right there if you actually made that phone call. So everything you need in terms of taking notes, telling you what to say, giving you all of that data on how to make a great have a great conversation. That's all right there in front of you, just a click away. So
Nice.
yep. So you've got phone calls you can make. You may have noticed there's a little start mail button. So you can just hit start mail and it'll automatically just start mailing them, and you can just wait to answer the phone, right? So you've got a ton of postcards in here to be able to work with, and just, we've got like 10 or 15 default templates that you can work with. So you can see, here's my tired landlord one, and you can put it on repeat. So you can say, hey, you know what? Every 30 days, send them a postcard, do it 12 times. And then when you hit start mail, every 30 days, they're going to get a postcard. And so you're just sitting back and it's, generating leads in your sleep there, right? You're waiting to answer that phone call. So you've got a couple options there to actually reach out to the seller between calling, mail, email, addresses right here. If you want to take it as far as like door knocking or leaving flyers on the door, we even have a route planning mode in here. So if you're on DealMachine Pro, it'll give you turn-by-turn navigation to drive your whole list too. So it'll tell you like, hey, here's, go here, great. Go to then here, great. Here to the next one. And it'll give you the fastest route possible to go drive your list. So you've got kind of a suite of marketing tools to reach out, whether it be in person, phone call, or direct mail.
Gotcha. Heck yeah.
Any questions on that? I know I threw a lot at you there.
As far as like the postcards go, is it like just the templates, or is there like an area to like be able to customize them and like make one or like upload like if we already had like a logo and everything designed for it to be able to just upload it in there.
Yep, great question. So if you click on mail and then postcards, here are all your templates, right? So you can hit new design and then create one from scratch or use one of ours. So you've got a whole bunch of different sizes. You can create one that's a blank template. You can go in here and I mean we even have like ballpoint letters which are handwritten that you can send. So you've got all kinds of stuff in here. I mean, I've got my own designed in here. Like this one actually gets a really high response rate, pretty awesome. So
Oh yeah, no,
uh,
I could see it.
or this one too. So you've got some pretty cool options here. Like you can get creative with it, or here's our like more professional looking ones, right? So you can do them, create them kind of any way you want to stand out in your market, and it's just like a couple clicks away in there too.
Gotcha. Yes, sir.
So
See.
all that, I mean, I do want to share at the very end here, or one last tip for you guys when it comes to like actually talking about price point of the property, right? Like, so you are building the list, you're using these tools to have conversations, and then you're like, okay, great, what do I buy it for? What do I offer, right? We do have two tools in DealMachine to help you. Like, you've got a comping button up here, so if you click on that, it'll actually give you comps of comparable properties nearby to show you, oh, here's what this house would sell for if it was all fixed up, right? And so you can go in here and actually say, okay, great, show me all properties that look like this one. Let me draw, around the area nearby, so it's really only showing the ones that are closest to it. And now
Mhm.
I've got a real estimated value of what this property would go for when it's all fixed up, because these other ones around me went for 350, 285, 285. Great. So this one's going to be 329 based on that. So it gives you that number of, okay, here's what the ARV, the after repair value of this property is, right?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to actually making an offer, you can go in and just select this little bottom left corner. That's the AI assistant that was in the dialer. Got it right here too. And this is on DealMachine Pro specifically as well. It unlocks this AI assistant. And what you can do is you can come in here and say, you know what? Analyze the property, or you know what? Calculate the offer price right here. I want to wholesale this property. And it'll go in and actually in front of you do the math for you of, well, we think here's the ARV, here's what we think the repair is, here's what we're gonna do for a wholesale fee. Great. Here's the max level offer. And it'll kind of go in and actually run the math for you in front of you to give you an idea of what that offer price should be. So you've got some options in front of you too, whether you want to look at the comping, that way it's using MLS data to give you those, what the house is worth when it's all fixed up, or the AI assistant. You just click on those prompts and go through and you've got a couple different ways to come to that offer amount. So
Gotcha.
there we go, man.
Sure. Heck
That,
yeah.
yeah, wanted to kind of give you that breakdown of, think about DealMachine in those three phases. How do you build a list of leads? How do you market to those leads? How do you make great offers and close the deal? And I gave you kind of a suite of tools here to run with. Do you are any of these things that you want me to kind of dig in further? To hopefully that makes sense to at least give you a place to start.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. It definitely helped me like look at the filters, see how like AI will help me within this, and like just kind of. I like the last thing you just did where you went in and the AI will go and like help me calculate my deal and see a lot of what I'm looking for. And like just doing the comps
Make
and
it easy.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah. Cause like I can sit here and do this either from my computer or if I'm like out in the field driving for dollars, I can pull my app up and sit
Yep.
here, start looking at information because I'm the type person, if I see a homeowner and he's standing outside and his property looks good, I'm just going to go up and talk to him right there. So
Love
right
that.
before I
There
go
we go.
talk to him, that AI tool just helps me go ahead and look at everything right there.
Yep, same deal. Like just inside the mobile app as well, you can pull open that property, and then you've got that little AI assistant bottom corner for you. So you just pop that
Hmm.
open and have the conversation right there, and on the go, be able to if you're willing to take that initiative, just go out there and like say hello and ask if they know anybody looking to sell. Like you're way ahead of the game. So if you lead with that action, you've got all the data and tools you need. Like that's a winning combo, man. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alrighty. Well, it's been about 30 minutes. I won't keep you too long. I just want to say I really appreciate you coming on here, giving me this demo, and just showing me how Deal Machine works.
yeah, absolutely. And let me know. I'm happy to do any kind of follow up, trainings and things. And again,
Gotcha.
I always try to share again what we see working across the board, because we know, hey, if we can give you guys that knowledge and that playbook and you've got the tool here, like we know you're going to be more successful, and it's that's when we win as well. Like we want to help you guys go do more deals. So keep me posted on how it can be helpful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely will.